A wrist and shoulder friendly class today. Okay. Crisscross or else our feet out long in front of us or out wide, depending on how your hips feel. Let's close our eyes and just breathe. Relaxing our shoulders down from our ears. We can have our palms up or down, whatever works for you. Imagine that you are slightly thirsty today. And maybe you are. And you have a glass of fresh, cool spring water nearby. Don't drink it just yet. Take a breath. And now imagine yourself drinking it. Observe how your body feels when you take that refreshing drink. In your mind's eye, drink the water and note in detail how it feels in your mouth and your throat. Feel the water in your belly and notice how it makes your whole body feel, every cell. Drink a little bit more. Take a few more breaths here and experience the amazement of water. Set an intention that when you do have a real drink of water, you'll take time today to experience the pleasure of drinking it and feel the gratitude for that opportunity. Let's get into our warm-up. Bringing our arms up, inhaling, can touch our thumbs together and bring the hands back towards the earth. A few more flowing mountains seated, either on your mat, on a chair. If you're taking care of your shoulders today, breathing, keeping our hands in our lap. Wherever we are, we're feeling our spine inside our body, one vertebrae stacked on top of the other, and perhaps noticing some space between each one. On our next flow, let's bring our hands to our knees and move through some seated cat and cows. Exhaling into cat, tucking our chin, rolling a little bit onto our tailbone, and then inhale, opening up into cow jaw, our elbows back behind us. Exhaling cat, inhaling cow, all on your own, one vertebrae at a time. We'll warm up our spine really well today. Take this opportunity to breathe and feel your breath in your body. Let go of your morning, your weekend. Last one. We'll sit up tall again, holding onto our knees. So a lot of the times we do seated circles, reaching forward with our chest. Today we're going to reach back a little bit with our tailbone. We'll hold onto our knees and lean over to your left. Just lean over. Tuck the tailbone under. Slightly come around and then lean to the right. Now open up the chest and come up to front. Lean over, tuck, make that little circle, and the chest opens at the top. So we'll continue to move through with these seated circles towards your left side first. We tuck, roll across on the back side, open up the chest as we come around to the front. And no rush. Last one in that direction. We'll find our nice steady posture at the top and then take a little lean over to your right side Tuck under the tailbone, roll through, hold on to your knees, come around the front, open the chest, and start again. Lean over, tuck the tailbone, open the chest on your way up. Great for our digestion. Speaking of which, yes, there are classes next Monday. Great for the turkey, digesting the turkey. It'll be all twists and digestion and detox on next Monday. Last one, and we'll do our regular seated circles that we do. Our spine's getting a nice warm up today. We find ourselves in our easy seated pose, shoulders down, and we turn our chest towards our right knee. Now we reach forward with our chest towards our right knee, then towards our feet, then towards the left knee, and we rise up and straighten out again. Reach towards the right knee, reach around the front with the heart, and come up. And then we add in the breath. Inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. So about halfway down, you start to inhale. Pause, and then exhale. Our spine is long, strong, lengthened, pausing at the top. And going in the opposite direction. We start with our chest reaching towards the left knee, around the front, and then the right. It's okay if our backside lifts up a little bit, but for the most part, we're anchoring our backside down into the mat. A lovely and gentle class today. The last one, we'll hold up at the top. Let's place our palms now up towards the sky. Take our right ear towards our right shoulder. We'll be flowing side to side. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale over to the other side. Side to side. Each time we lengthen our cervical spine like we're lengthening a bendy straw, and then a gentle tip over. You might notice one side feels better than the other. That's normal. Don't judge your neck though. It does a lot for you. Holds up your head all day long. Let's hold our right ear towards our right shoulder and place our left hand towards the mat. So if your fingertips come down to the mat, fantastic, maybe the full hand. And we push away as our right ear goes towards our right shoulder. So we're lengthening that space between our left earlobe and our left shoulder. We'll lift it up and do the other side. Left ear towards left shoulder. We push into the mat or a block with our other hand to lengthen the side of our neck. Staying present in the feelings happening. Wonderful. Let's bring our head up. Give ourselves a little hug. So we'll take our hands across to our shoulders and do a few little circles with our neck. One way. That doesn't feel good, don't have to do it. We'll stop and go the other direction, around the other way. Warming up our neck really well. Wonderful. So we'll meet in the center, still holding on. Think of our tailbone or our lower part of our body really staying steady, and we'll twist over to one side. Can hold on and just bring maybe your chest so that it is facing towards your left knee or your right knee. We'll come around and do the other side. Or our belly button is staying still. We're warming up our rib cage. And then bring it back over to that left knee and tip forward on your left knee. Bring your hands long. So we're in a seated forward fold over top of our left knee. We'll walk around to the front with our hands. Hang out there for a breath or two, and then all the way over to the other side, resting our belly towards our right knee. It doesn't have to touch, just a stretch. Wonderful. Let's lift it up. Take our feet out a little bit wider in front of us. So we'll be flowing through our deer pose. or a different variation of that. So there is some space between our feet. You can have your fingertips east to west or pointing towards your backside, whatever works for you. Drop the knees over to one side. So the right knee would come towards the back of your foot. It doesn't have to touch or anything like that. And then over to the other side. Flowing side to side, our flowing deer. If something doesn't feel good, you can pull back. Your hands aren't glued down. And if you want to try the hip flexor stretch, you come all the way up at the top and then over to the other side. So we come up, shift, feel the mobility in our hips and come up. Or we flowing deer side to side. Both of these are going to work. Both of these are going to work. One is actually easier on your wrists because you're not putting any pressure on your wrists. And we'll hold our flowing deer, sit up, and we'll hold deer pose. Let's bring your left hand over to your right knee. And you can look back over your back shoulder if that feels nice for your neck. Here's our deer pose. Close your eyes. Picture yourself a deer in a beautiful mountain meadow. All the way over to the other side, whatever side you didn't do. Your hand walks around to that opposite knee. And we're in our deer pose in that direction. Do whatever feels good. Opposite hand to opposite knee. So your left hand to your right knee. Left hand, right knee. You got her. Yeah, that would feel better. The other way, you're kind of trying yourself up. Good. Let's bring it back. We'll be making our way to child's pose. So have some space between our knees. You can have as much space as you want for your body at the moment. Toes come towards each other at the back, our big toes. Our hips sit towards our heels and we rest down into child's pose. Where it could feel good if the head doesn't want to rest on the mat today to really relax your neck, you can allow the forehead to go onto your fists in front of you. You can stack your fists and let your head rest because we do in child's pose want our head to be free from tension. We don't want to have our neck having to do the work keeping our head up here. We want it to rest. Breathe. Feel the space across the back. Maybe feel the warmth of the sun on your back, on your skin. We'll walk our hands towards our knees, right? And we do have a flow now for our hips. I just wanted to give you options of how to roll your mats up for your knees, or I can bring you knee pads. So if you have a regular mat that's different than mine, you can either, we'll start with one side. You would roll it up like this, whichever side we decide to do, or you just go like this to give yourself a little extra right across both of your knees. Or I can bring you knee pads. Would anyone like a knee pad? All right. Try to get us set up. So you've either got your mat rolled up so that we can do our flow for our hips with our right foot forward. It doesn't have to be on your mat. Your right foot can be off your mat in front of you. With or without blocks for our hands. I think I'm going to use blocks. All right, so our right foot is forward. Here comes the fun part. Shift back, turn our toes up. I'm going to bring blocks around and shift forward. So start to flow through that. I'll bring blocks. There you go, my friend. You're welcome. These blocks are a best friend to a yogi. Welcome. You're good? Okay, just in case, I'll be close by. All right, so now we'll come forward. You might notice that your hip flexor is being stretched at the moment. Let's walk it back so our hip comes on top of our knee, but our foot still is long. Then we'll walk our right foot even forward further, turn our toes up. Keep a little bend in our knees and hinge our nose towards our shin. Blocks can be helpful here, under hands, under forearms, or no blocks, hands on the mat. Breathe. Feel this stretch, our hips are reaching back. We always have a little bend in our front knee. Wonderful. Walk that foot back in and let's switch sides. Bring the left foot forward. And we start with our flow. Forward, the hip flexor, your right hip goes towards the mat. And then you shift back, where you can optionally turn the toes up as you shift back. Take your time. We're here for about 10 rounds on this side. If you want to close your eyes, you can. If you want to take your hands off your blocks, you can. It's up to you. Amazing. So on our next one, we'll be coming forward and then positioning our right hip up above our knee and walking our left foot forward. It's okay if it comes off your mat, no big deal. We'll turn the toes up and bring our nose towards our shin, or even just try to look in front of your foot. Even just that look, the lengthening of the neck, will increase the feeling of the stretch. Great job. We've got a little bend in our knees so that we don't hyperextend it. Amazing job, my friends. Let's come to all fours. And if you're taking care of your wrists today, put your blocks underneath your wrists. Let's move through cat and cow on all fours. You can use those blocks or put your hands down on the mat. One amazing vertebrae at a time. Closing our eyes and letting go of any competition today with ourselves, our former selves, anyone else. Last one. Incredible. All right, we come to a flat back. We'll be making our way to a forward fold. So you might want to bring one foot forward. You can grab it by the ankle, walk it up, tuck the back toes onto the mat so that you're able to push off your back foot and anchor through the front. Forward fold. Space between our feet. We're hanging out in our forward fold, letting our head be heavy. Holding on to our elbows and letting the weight of our upper body use gravity to stretch our back here. If it feels nice, a ragdoll, holding elbows, rocking side to side. Our head is relaxed though, so that neck again is taking a break from lifting your head up. And let's start our flow. Halfway up, inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. All on your own, flowing through at your own pace. Hands can be in the front of the knees or the backs of the knees. Think of the back muscles that surround your spine, lifting you up and then letting you go slowly. One more, flowing through. We'll move into a chair pose. Let's bend our knees, lift up our hearts, relax our shoulders down, wherever you want your hands to be. Flowing chair. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, sit back into our chair, all on your own. So if we're taking care of our wrists or shoulders today, keeping our hands right at our heart or holding our collarbones or our shoulders. It could feel nice to touch the thumbs together at the top of our movement. Last one. We'll meet in our mountain pose. Relaxing the shoulders down from our ears, opening across our chests. Our fingertips lengthening towards the floor. Let's reach our right arm up, pressing into our right foot. Feel the openness down the side of the right body. And then other side. About 5 breaths as we reach with one hand, anchor through the same side foot. And release. Let's roll those shoulders a little bit. Got a fun flow that doesn't really involve using your arms that you can use for warm-ups. But since we already have our blocks, this is how we make it funner. Block comes above our knees. So depending on how wide your hips are, I find this is pretty uncomfortable, and depending on how your body's made, I do find it works better this way. Okay. This is a flow that is gentle on our shoulders and our wrists, but great on our inner thighs and our balance. We'll do it really slow, and then we'll go breath for breath. So we keep our hands by our sides, open across the chest, belly towards spine, lift up onto the balls of our feet. Engage the block. So while you're there, actually it'll be better for us to come back down. I just want you to think about this block. So we're not trying to serve this block forward by squeezing our glutes. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to draw it up and back almost. So you draw it towards your body, and we're a little more open across our lower back. So we're not pushing it forward, we're drawing it up and in. All right, so check in with those two differences. You could even see how that feels. To clench, not good for your low back. To open and to draw up, good, good back. And stay here or keep that same kind of engagement, lift onto the toes. Got that same strong engagement through our pelvis, through our lower body. Our shoulders are resting. Bring it back down. We're still engaged, trying to almost push the block out the back. Now we bend our knees, come into our chair pose. Still think of that engagement, trying to hold onto that block and push it back. And our hands come by our sides now. We lengthen our neck into our chair pose. Breathe. So whenever we're in a yoga practice, you might hear an instructor say, internally rotate your thighs. That's what this feeling is. You're internally rotating your thighs kind of back towards the back edge. Feels good. We haven't barely moved, but you should almost start sweating at this point. Now we forward fold. Still internally rotating our thighs, creating space in our lower back. Breathe. All right, we rise up to our regular mountain. You can sweep up. We still have that engagement on our legs, and we can relax it for a little bit. Bring our hands by our sides. And we'll go through that flow now. So we hold onto our block, and then remember, you don't have to if it doesn't feel nice for you. We find that internal rotation, lift up onto our toes. If you want to reach up, you can. Heels go down, keep the engagement, sit into chair, keep the engagement, keep the engagement. Forward fold, keep that engagement. All the way up, inhale. Exhale into our regular mountain. Lift up, hands at our sides or up. Focus on the legs. Exhale, heels go down. Inhale, chair pose, hands reach back, internally rotating our thighs. Take a breath, and on your exhale, forward fold. Head is heavy, let it relax, let it be. All the way up, breathe in. This is our last time. Exhale into mountain. Check in again with the engagement that's happening in your pelvis. We'll lift up into our mountain with or without our arms up. Exhale, heels go down. Inhale, chair pose. Good job. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Great job. Hands come by our sides. Okay, you can get rid of the block, but that's something you can add on or play around with your practice. Anytime you want to add that block into your practice without me doing it at the same time. Okay, now we're nice and warm. Let's move on to our strength portion of the class with an option to not use your arms today. Right foot forward, left foot back, heel is high. So you want to come to the top of the mat, step way back with your left foot. Think of the right kneecap, your left kneecap facing the mat. Hips are forward. And normally we would be reaching up for our lunge. If you'd like to today, you'll clasp your hands together, place them on your front thigh. Anywhere you want to, press into that front thigh, open up across the chest. If the hands come unclasped, no big deal, unclasp them. Breathe. Or take this time to make sure we're pressing into both of our feet. We'll check in with our right knee. Let's take a look down. Make sure it's not in or out or in front of our toe. It's back behind. Hands come to our hips. Back heel goes down. Now we're in warrior one without arms. You actually still have arms. We're just not using our arms. Heel down. So if you'd like to add arms, arms would be hands up or cactus arms. Or today, if you're taking care of your shoulders, hands at our hips. And when we do have our hands at our hips, it gives us that opportunity to make sure they're facing towards the front of the mat for warrior one. And then when we move into warrior two, it gives us our opportunity to feel our hips open up now towards the long edge of our mat. You can walk your back foot back a little bit. That might feel better. And now we have our hips stacked underneath our shoulders. And if it feels good for you, you can go into your regular warrior two arms long, palms down, reaching, pressing into both of our feet. Breathe. When my daughter comes home, I'm going to get her to come play guitar for us during our classes. Yeah, it's going to be great. Trying to take your mind off your quads. All right, looking down at our right toes, they're pointing towards the short edge of your mat. Let's point them towards the left, still bend. So look, now we're in a classic lunge, side lunge. Toes facing towards the long edge. So if you're taking care of your knees, it's just a little lean over to one side. But your right knee is bent, you're in your side lunge towards your right knee. Hands at our hips. That right knee is tracking towards the middle of the right foot. So it's nice and strong. And now we'll straighten both of our toes towards the long edge of the windows. Hinge halfway down. Hold on to your hips. Feel how they're pointing towards the mat. Soften the knees, lengthen the neck, stretch the back of the legs. Modifications, if you'd like to, blocks under your hands or hands to the mat. You can have as deep of a bend as you want in your knees. Hands either to our mat, or then our hands reach for the backs of our ankles. If you want to, you pull yourself closer to your legs, but only if that feels nice. If something doesn't feel good or feeling dizzy, we'll bring our head up above our hearts and stay long while we stretch. Let's tick-tock those feet together. Let's give our Achilles a little break. Tick-tock those feet together before we move on. And I wanted to show you the next flow, because you notice we didn't do sun salutations today, but we're going to add in some vinyasa each time. So your flow for this one, we all know our balancing half moon, right? And we all love balancing half moon. It's going to be balancing half moon to that Shiva Squat. Opening up, knee to the back of the calf. So if that doesn't feel nice, just hold your balancing half moon. or hold your squat. You can join me anytime you want to. We'll have our right foot forward first. Balancing half moon, and we're open. Now also, to take care of your wrist, you can have your hand on your hip. Your right hand on your hip doesn't have to be up. Actually, it's better at your hip. Bring it down to your squat. And then open back up. We only have to do 3 or 4. Actually, we don't have to do any if you don't want to. You're like, I'm not doing any of these, Denise. Okay, forward fold. So like I said at the beginning of class, pretty gentle on the shoulders, pretty fun for the legs. Let's fly, halfway lift, breathe in, fold again. So now I want to give that right quad a break and we'll stretch the glutes. So right foot is at the top of our mat. We step our left foot back. We're in a pyramid pose, heels down. Remember those hips, they're facing the mat or the front edge of your mat. And then we draw our nose towards our shin. In our pyramid pose. If it feels okay for our knees, our toes are both facing towards the short edge of our mat at the front. And we feel the stretch, and that's what it's about, not what it looks like. The stretch down in your right leg, that front leg, down the back of it. Wonderful. Step to forward fold. All the way up, breathe in. Exhale into mountain. Let's do that lovely sequence that's gentle on our shoulders on the other side. Our left foot goes up to the top of our mat. Our right foot goes back and we find ourselves in that lunge, bending our left knee, our right kneecap facing the floor. And instead of reaching up, we're clasping our hands or not, pressing into that leg, kind of making it go down a little further and opening up across the chest. We can close our eyes only if that feels nice. If the breath goes away, then open the eyes again. Hands to hips. Let's drop the back heel down. So now we're in warrior one. I don't know about you guys, but my right leg is still feeling the first sequence. That's a good thing. So the hips face the front. Now we go into warrior two. Hips turn towards the long edge or the white wall with the pink flower. You can stay here in your warrior two or open your arms up into our more regular warrior two. Bending our left knee, reaching actively through our fingertips. Whew. All right, straightening out our left leg, turning our toes towards the same edge as that right leg. So now both of our toes facing the wall and we bend our left knee. So here we are in our side lunge the other way. I would recommend with that left toe though, it doesn't have to be totally towards the long edge. If that doesn't feel nice for your knee, it can be out on an angle towards that top corner of your mat. In our side lunge towards your left knee, breathe. Straightening our legs, turning the toes towards the long edge now, hinging into our wide leg forward fold. Letting the head hang or hanging out on blocks here. Keeping our knees slightly bent. You can see how it feels to practice that internal rotation in this position. If you want to, you can reach towards the backs of your ankles. We'll come all the way up, inhale. Turn our left toes towards me or towards the front edge of your mat. And now we have that flow, balancing half moon on the left foot. Into our Shiva Squat, right knee towards left calf. You can have your hand at your hip, and that makes it easier to flow between the two. So we open and then we squat down. Great job, my friends. You're almost there. Forward fold, breathe out. Bring those feet back up towards the top of the mat, toes face the front. Amazing job. Halfway up. Fold again. All the way up, breathe in. Meet in our mountain. So I'm going to drop some straps off because we are going to do a quad stretch today. So you might want to strap for your back foot. If you're at home, grab a belt or something, or grab a drink, whatever you like. 2, 3. Okay, 3. Got one. Okay, wonderful. There we go. So you can either create a circle in the end of your strap. If you don't have a strap or something like that at home, that gives you that opportunity to do that, and it would just create a circle in that way, just so you can reach for it. Right foot. Okay. So we are reaching our right hand for right foot. Now you've noticed what I did a little bit, that's a no-no. We don't want to be out here. We bring our right knee underneath our right foot. So if you've got your strap, you create the circle, put it on your right foot. So you hold on to it behind your calf or behind your ankle, and then lift up. So right at the moment, it's in your right hand, right foot. The wall is really helpful here as well. Too far away from me at the moment. All right, so if you do have a nice long strap, you can have it up above your shoulder even. Or if you're working towards being able to grab your right foot, you would hold on here. So the difference in today's practice is instead of keeping it in the right hand, right foot, we're going to reach with our other hand for our foot. So just transfer the strap to your other hand. And that's the fun. Just the transfer is the fun part. Take your time. And if you'd like to, you reach your right arm up with your foot, right foot in your left hand. Amazing job. That is our balance for the day until we do the other side. Bring it down. If you're using your strap, you'll switch it to the other foot. If you're not using your strap, well, you'll just grab your other foot. I find it easier to bring my knee forward, grab my ankle, and then bring it back, unless you want to use momentum. So left hand, left foot to start with for a few breaths, or just hold onto the back of your pants. That can help too. And if it feels good, we try to transfer our foot into the other hand or our strap into the other hand, and we reach this other arm up. So while we're stretching our quad and our knee, our ankles are getting stronger. Release. That is your balance for the day, my friends. We may now go to a seated position on the mat. Take your time in whatever way you want to get down to the earth. Grab a drink on your way, get comfortable. We'll be moving into our boat poses. If you want to, that block between our thighs, and this is where we have another opportunity to internally rotate rather than push it forward. Rotate, hands on our knees, under or on top. It can be there. This is a little bit easier on your wrists, or they're here. We lift up, or we don't lift up. You can have your block there or no block for your feet. Choose your hands wherever we are, our version of boat. What suits our body today? In this moment, close your eyes and enjoy the strength. Enjoy the openness across the chest. Whatever pose we choose, our breath is full. That is the key. Or maybe not the key, but one of the most important things of yoga is to be able to breathe. Let's lean forward, give our core a little break. We can tuck our chin towards our chest, stretch our neck. Yeah, if you've got a block, take it out. You'll get a block in the chin. Soles of the feet will come together or towards each other, and we'll move into our butterfly pose. They don't have to be super close towards your groin, just as close as you want them to be. We can be holding onto our ankles and lifting the crown of the head up. So if we hold on to those ankles and we're pulling away at the same time, we're creating some traction in our wrists. So a little bit of space in our wrist. Using the muscles or the outside muscles of our thighs and glutes, drawing our knees towards the mat. And we'll release. We're doing staff pose. So staff pose, we bring our feet forward. Our toes point up, and if staff pose, we engage the muscles of our legs, so we're not just hanging out here. We engage our quads, they hug our knees, our calves, we turn our toes up, our glutes, they almost lift us up off the mat, and our hands come by our sides, where we try to lengthen our neck. So maybe the hands reach to the mat, maybe they don't, maybe we put fists for wrists. To the non-yogi, it looks like we're just sitting here, but we are using the muscles of our legs. We're strengthening our knees just by engaging these muscles. Shaking is good. Those are your muscle fibers working. And release. Let the toes fall out a little bit towards the edge. And we'll be having a twist, a high twist today with an option to do heron pose. Right hand to your left, outside of your left knee, and your back hand to your back. Belly button is forward. We twist above, and if it feels nice, looking back over our back shoulder. So for anybody that wants to try heron pose, you can. Your left knee will bend, your right hand grabs onto the foot, and then we straighten that leg out again. So that's heron, or here even is another variation. So we can have our little fun staff pose with a twist. Heron pose, so your opposite hand to foot. Again, choosing a pose that allows us to breathe freely. All right, let's do the other side. A gentle twist. So we try not to tuck our tail under, we're nice and tall. Or we can bend, add the twist, bend that right knee, or reach left hand, right foot, back end long, or on the mat. Whatever works. Unwinding, forward fold. If you want to bend your knees, you can. Have your forward fold here, or legs straight, our forward fold. Breathe, feel, listen. It's not about how far we can go in our forward fold. It's the feeling. Amazing. Let's walk those hands back up our legs. So we'll be rolling back onto our backs for a little bit of core work and some back strengtheners. Take your time, make your way back. All right, so to start our core work, we'll have our right foot, turn that down, right foot on the mat, bent knee, left foot extending up to the sky. Our lumbar spine, or that lower back, is trying to make an imprint of itself on our mat to keep our core engaged. Now we'll extend that left foot towards the earth, so extending it nice and long. We won't quite touch. Then we'll bend the left knee and then reach that left foot back up towards the sky. So we go long, bend and draw in with our ab muscles, straighten out and do it again. Reaching long, bend, imprint, and reach up. So one way to give your core even more of more work, you don't let that knee come towards your belly. That lets your abs off the work. So when we bring it to bend, we only come up to hip and then reach long. We go long, bend the knee, and extend. Last one on this side, and we'll be switching to the other side. The left foot goes down on the mat with the bent knee. We reach our right foot up. So notice that knee kind of out, and then we lengthen, bend, but we don't bring it in too high. Extend and lengthen. Each time we flow through, checking in, if possible, with the connection of your lower back, press down into the mat. Helps protect your spine. This will be our last one, and we'll try to do a few with both feet. So both feet extend up towards the sky. The lower back press down. We extend our legs down towards the earth only as far. If you feel the lower back lift up, that's where you want to stop. Once it lifts, then you start to bend the knees and bring them back over your hips. And then extend the feet up towards the sky. So we extend and extend and extend until we feel our lower back lift. We want to press it back down, bend the knees, and lift up. A few more of those little circles. Pressing our shoulder blades down. No weight in our neck, our jaws free from tension. Our core getting lots of love today. Don't worry, we'll stretch it. All right, so let's bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor. Walk those feet out so that there's about hip distance between them. Walk them in a little bit closer to your backside so that you have a nice strong connection to press into the feet, lift the hips up into our bridge pose. If you do have a block nearby, you can slide that under your lower back. If this doesn't feel nice, we want yoga to feel nice. A work in. And you'll slowly lower down. Lower the hips back down. Now we'll do a bridge with our feet together. So soles of the feet come together. We move into a supine butterfly. Knees are out wide. Instead of pressing the soles of our feet now into the mat, we're pressing the soles of the feet into each other, lifting our hips up. And I don't have to come up too high into our butterfly bridge. Different. Slowly lower it back down. I mean, if you want to hold it up a little longer, you can. We'll be making our way into our Shavasana, drawing the knees together. Maybe rocking them side to side, releasing any tension in our back. And then settling into our Shavasana today. If there's another pose that you want to do, add it in. Otherwise, take that rock side to side. And then we'll settle into Shavasana for today. If you'd like an eye cover, just raise your hand. I can bring you one. We can have our legs extended long or our knees bent. There's always blankets available as well. You can get those before or after practice. Settle in. Our first meditation to start our class was about water, and now we'll do another one. Feel the weight of the body. Allow the weight of your body to be supported. Give your muscles a break. It's okay to relax. Before we settle in, this week, observe your weekly routine. You can write it down, sometimes that helps. And notice the amount of time you spend on activities or pastimes that give you pleasure, joy, real joy. Empower yourself with the freedom to choose an optimal but realistic amount of time to prioritize happiness. Whether focusing on a longer event, like a concert, or something small, like choosing your favorite chocolate at the store and taking a moment to savor it. Honor your life by making time in your schedule to enjoy it. Allowing our body to become as comfortable as possible. If it feels nice, our arms can rest by our sides with our palms up or down, feeling open, or perhaps they rest on your belly. Relax and feel your body get heavy. Let it go to the floor. Releasing tension, feeling the earth beneath you supporting you today. In your mind's eye today, see and feel yourself resting on a small, beautiful island amid a large, calm body of water. You're safe and comfortable beneath the shade of a tree. If your mind wanders for the next few moments, that's okay. If thoughts come in, bring it back. In your mind's eye, watch your belly rise and fall with your breath. And let's rest here on our island within for the next few moments. Before we become fully aware, our quote to contemplate today by Gary Zukov of The Seat of the Soul. You are a dynamic being of light that at each moment informs the energy that flows through you. You do this with each thought, with each intention. Let's wiggle our fingers and our toes. Move our head side to side. Make some small movements there. Enjoy another breath. And take your time to roll over onto one side. There's no rush, never any rush. We'll relax our shoulders down and away from our ears today once we settle into a side and up onto an easy seat. All right, back where we started. Take your time. Relax the shoulders down. We can settle back to our palms facing up today. Relaxing the shoulders, engaging the core. Let's take a big breath in. Fill yourself up with that light, those good thoughts. Exhale, bring our hands to our hearts. If it feels okay, we'll take a gentle bow towards Mother Earth. Today, thankful for the water. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day, ladies. Friends at home, bye, Pauline. Have a wonderful day.